Well, this is it, kids. The finale. This is the end of the RK saga, as I know anyway. That's what the title says. I haven't read it yet. But it's been a hell of a ride, hasn't it? Let's get to it. Let's start with the story. Well, Detective Moonhorse almost blew the case wide open. You've been right about every detail in your commentary except one. BB has not left RK to my knowledge. Oh, wow. That actually surprised me. That Musk was just too much, and we regret not having been able to convince them that RK was being, well, abusive. Maybe not physically, but psychological wounds run deep. Very true. As far as we know, they live in a carpeted house with their pissing cat, but we are getting ahead of ourselves. This is the breaking point for certain with them. The final hair on the Neckbeard's back. It all began when I saw an ad for a dating app. Though it offered features for young people, pro-LGBTQ+, to look for just friends, it's hard to make friends as a young adult in a small town in a pandemic. I, Suka, had made an error in the very first post, but Moonhorse uploaded the video, and it was only upon hearing it that I realized the error. The dates are wrong. Instead of 2018 to 2020, it was May 2019 to June of 2020 that we were all living together. So I downloaded this app and excitedly talked about its options, features, and about how it's not just for dating, it's LGBTQ plus positive, etc., etc. Cal and Percival seemed pretty interested. At the time, RK was in the living room, quietly listening. After a few moments of sulking in the corner, he spoke up and said, "Oh yeah? Well, maybe I should get that app too, so I can find some beautiful like you guys to be my friends, maybe more." Cool. Repulsed at the thought of seeing RK's sweaty profile picture on the app that I frequent so much as a means to escape from my thoughts and life with him and BB, Cal and I both asked him kindly to get any other social media app on the market but that one. We also conceded we couldn't stop him after some of his childish huffing and ranting and told him to please not friend us or like our profiles if he did, and we thought that was that. I mean, yeah, you can kind of use whatever he wants, but I guess I can kind of see where you're coming from. The following day, Percival and I were talking about the app in the living room. Cal's in the kitchen. RK entered from his room, big smile on his face. "Well, I enjoyed the app y'all were talking about." Suka, what, are you kidding? Dude, we asked you yesterday not to, and if you did, don't, friend us and stuff. Percival, yeah, me either. If that's okay with you, I'd like to keep our profiles kind of private. You see, we had blocked RK from texting us. He was bad-mouthing us on social media, so we blocked him from seeing our accounts on those platforms as well. Now it makes sense. Okay. RK's face scrunched up in that way he does before he bawls. "But why? I just want to be able to talk to you." Suka, dude, we don't want to talk to you. You're forcing yourself into a friendship with us, and we just need distance. Cal, we specifically said that we don't want to be associated with you in that capacity. Kind of need privacy, and it feels like you just really don't care about how we feel. We just aren't comfortable with speaking to you outside of in-person right now. Suka, we're just trying to get some space. We need that right now. RK got mad. My dog, who for the sake of anonymity will be called Shadow, jumped up on the recliner where RK was sitting. And he yelled, "Get off of me, Shadow!" loudly in the process as he shoved her with all her might into the coffee table. Shadow whimpered. I saw red. I jumped up and slapped him as hard as I could. "How dare you? You don't ever touch my dog again. You hurt and mistreat animals, and that is really shitty. Dude, I will fuck you up if you ever touch her again." Which may have been a little far, but I really loved that dog. Raised her from a puppy. It may sound dumb, but she's kind of my child. I was raised in a setting where parents would swear jail time and death if someone ever touched their child, so this was a matter of protecting the people and animals that I love, no matter the consequences. I would risk assault to protect her, though I wouldn't have to. RK scrunched his face in anger, and this time actually balled his fist up and raised it like he was going to punch me directly in the face. Cal jumped over the couch and was between RK and I before I even realized what RK was going to do. He had a fist raised and ready in that way that Chris Chan kind of holds his punches. That's very specific. This 6-something, 300-pound beast was ready to deck me after I slapped him for hurting my dog. "How dare you! I love that dog! I would never do anything to hurt her!" he screamed. I countered with, "You just fucking shoved her! She whimpered! How dare you!" Cal grabbed RK's shirt collar after his leap over the couch and backed him against the door of the stank cave, looking pissed and ready to fight. If I ever see you even think about raising a fist at my partner again, I will not hesitate to beat your ass into the ground. You need to pack your things and stop sitting on your ass and get out. You've got a week to find a new place before we toss your shit in the driveway. BB began wailing, a gross sobbing from inside the stank cave. "We're gonna be homeless! Why would you do this to us?" He repeated those 2 sentences over and over until his words became completely unintelligible. "We'll tell the landlord that we've been living here, so we'll be a violation of your lease. You'll be homeless." Cal called them on their bullshit. "Do it. I'll call them right now and tell them I have 2 squatters here. It'll be our words against yours." Of course, they didn't have the balls to retaliate. They just threatened a few other things, lost to time, and when they began backpedaling and begging. "Look, you can't give us 2 weeks. Can you at least help us pack?" Cal shook his head and began to comfort me as I cried. My dog at my side, just fine, and pressing herself against me in worry. I gave her lots of pets and treats that day. Oh, good dog. RK finally conceded. He and BB cried loudly in their room for the rest of the afternoon. Percival and I avoided them, but they would corner Percival when Cal and I weren't around. They tried to gaslight him by telling him we thought he was awful, and they begged him to go with them on the move. They tried to tell him that he would be so much better off. Percival wouldn't say anything to this peer pressure and would exit as soon as possible. Cal helped them a little bit, but RK and BB essentially abandoned all of their things except some clothes. They even left behind personal items that we never went through. We boxed it all up for them when they weren't around. Supposedly, they had found a nice place on the other side of town. Totally carpeted, 2 stories, hooray. Cal congratulated them, asked when they would be coming by for their things. RK just told Cal to put it in the storage unit that we shared from the move. At this point, RK and BB no longer interacted with any of us in person. They made very specific social media posts about us, directly naming us. We reported all these posts, and Cal chewed RK out for it, telling him not to slander us publicly. He needed to stop, and we would be reporting all of his posts and his account. We were pleased that they were taken down, thankfully. RK and BB went no contact after that. They never did get their stuff. Cal kept trying to set up a date with RK to meet up at the storage unit so they could settle things. Cal left RK voicemails and text messages that he never replied to. Until a few weeks later, when RK finally answered the phone. "What do you want?" "I want you to meet me at the storage unit so you can pick up your things." "That thing? I asked for a deposit back and canceled our contract." "What do you mean? I paid for the deposit. We have furniture in there." "Not my problem." Cal was fuming. He called the storage place immediately and was relieved to find that the nice old couple who ran it had not junked our stuff. For that month's leasing price, we could get all of our things back. We didn't hear from them again, not for a few months at least. You see, Percival, Cal, and I had all moved states. We left that house just a few months after we kicked them out. We got rid of the things they abandoned. This would just so happen to be the time that RK calls asking for some of their old things. Cal laughed and told RK to check the local junkyard. That is the end of RK and BB, as far as we know. They still live in that carpeted house with their piss-happy cat. We, meanwhile, are happily working on ourselves in this new state, far, far away from the deep shit pit that orbits them. So there's actually a lot of comments on this one. I'm honestly kind of amazed. I usually don't see a lot of Reddit comments, but so yeah, there is a small comment chain here of different people, but I'd like to read this one from between Hate the Beard, the OP who wrote this, and Realistic Noise 2. So this is their conversation, because I thought this was kind of interesting, so I'm going to add this at the end. Realistic Noise 2 says, "I'm so glad that you 3 got away from the bearded buddy gruesome twosome, and I wouldn't blame you at all. In fact, I would have helped you if he would have tried to hurt your dog. though this will probably be one of the final questions I would have to ask, but I do need to ask this. Although that you did move, and that you did get all your stuff, and everything has, as of now, these two have been made aware of their stuff and it was stored and being thrown out. If they ever try to take any action against you, the reason why I'm asking is, yeah, I know it's been a while, but if these two have nothing else to do except be horrible, they might come across these stories and then decide to retaliate, even though they were the ones at fault. And Hate the Beard replies, "We were scared that they might try something for a long while, but now that we're out of state, I don't think there really is anything they can do. We boxed their stuff and just left it at the house. Cal warned them a few times that we weren't going to hold on to their things, and they never made a move to come get it. If they come across this, I hope RK and BB are doing alright. They could try to contact Cal if they really wanted to, but we haven't told them about where we moved to, and have asked mutual friends not to share the details about us with them." Realistic Noise 2 replies, "Well, that's good. It's just the way that those two have been portrayed in these stories. It just kind of seems like they're petty enough to try and start some things, and basically to get you guys in trouble or even arrested. I know it sounds unlikely, but I've noticed with some neckbeards and like-beards that the narcissism at times can be extreme, but if they get their comeuppance or their karma, they literally lash out at the people who stood up to them." And Hate the Beard replies as well, "It's the only reason I didn't dump all of their things that their cat had pissed on their new porch." And the last comment from Realistic Noise 2. "That makes sense, and I'm sorry to be a pest, it's just that with everything that those two have done, I'm glad that you got away from them, and out of state so that you never have to deal with them again. But I still don't wish hate on them. I just hope that something will make them wake up and actually make them be functional human members of society and actually clean themselves." So, while this is a very interesting end, and I did want to add that stuff at the end, it is, kind of a thing. I mean, that's kind of what we do here. We laugh at the stories, but I do hope, like repeatedly with many of the other Neckbeard stories, that some of these people do get help and manage to get out of this situation. Nobody should be like that forever, And maybe they did, but who knows. Either way, that is definitely that's a hell of an ending. And I agree with you. I would have kind of lashed out too if somebody had hurt my dog. My Chi-Chi is such a precious tiny little thing. And I worry about her because she's a little miniature chihuahua. Well, she's a mix. And she only has 3 legs. She's not very fast, and she's not, like a big dog capable, and that's why I intentionally try to keep her away from very large animals. She used to be friends with my cat when we had a cat many years ago, but sadly, our cat kind of passed away. She was pretty old, it happens. But she and Dottie got along really well. And, yeah, I can understand being really, really mad about that. And just I've said it about every single episode, the level of narcissism between RK and BB is kind of amazing. It is literally just, what's the first thing that can happen to us? What about us? What about this? What about that? And it's, wow. I really do hope they kind of get out of that mentality. I did have to say that the first part, I didn't completely understand, the whole, don't, if you get this app, do not talk to us or anything like that. But once you explained it, no, I get it. Even if I was living near somebody, if all they did was talk shit about me all the time, I wouldn't want to talk to him either. So, for him to get that mad, well, for both of them, BB really didn't say anything, but definitely RK to get that mad about just being told that, yeah, you always talk bad about me, so I kind of don't want to be your friend on a social media app where you will invariably talk bad about me. Makes perfect sense to me. It's just that y'all were kind of stuck living together, but he is still kind of a jerk, so no, I feel that. But that is one hell of an ending to this story. I'm glad you guys are in a better place, and I'm glad things are actually getting better for you. I hope that for everybody, you know? I want everybody to be happy and be in good places and things to just kind of be good. So, I guess that's kind of the end of this video, and the end of this little series. Unless there's more parts. I don't know if there are. But I guess we'll find out. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this. I certainly did. It was a hell of a ride. If you did, make sure you do the YouTube thing of the like, comment, subscribe, or whatever. I have a Ko-Fi and a merch store if you'd like to support me so I can keep doing this. And there's a stream every Saturday, and there's a subreddit if you want to send in your own stories, r/Moonhorse stories. You can post it there. I'll see it. I check it. And no, that's about it. Well, thanks for being here, everybody. I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.